Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, January 30. A family of 3 people is now homeless after fire destroyed their home at Brathwaite's Gap, Dayrells Road, St. Michael earlier today. 50-year-old Julia Cadogan and her 2 sons, Damien and Ramon, lost their uninsured 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom wall structure just after 12:30 p.m. No one was at home at the time of the blaze. The alarm was raised by neighbor Judy Howell, who saw smoke coming from the backyard of the house. 10 fire officers and 2 tenders from the Probin Street and Worthing fire stations, under the command of Station Officer Patrick Edwards, responded to the fire, which was extinguished around 1:20 p.m. Police are continuing investigations. The World Health Organization today declared the coronavirus a global health emergency, urging countries to take action to contain the respiratory disease. However, regional officials today cautioned against panic, warning that the risk of the virus reaching the Caribbean remains low. Executive Director of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, Dr. Joyce St. John, however, raised concern about false information about the virus circulating via social media.
Prevention method is to keep your throat moist. Thus, do not hold your thirst till the end of March. Do not go to crowded places. Wear masks. So I understand that there are some countries where there have been runs on masks. Avoid fried or spicy food and load up with vitamin C. And the virus causing it is very potent and is resistant to existing antibiotics. So for persons who are not trained, who would understand that an antibiotic doesn't work against a virus in the first case, these kinds of things cause fear and strange behaviors. So the CARFA Communications team has been actively working and engaging key stakeholders and providing them with accurate, relevant, and timely information.
Dr. St. John was speaking at a forum organized by the University of the West Indies. She assured that CARFA will continue to monitor international developments and ensure that all Caribbean countries are ready for any eventuality.
So the response of CARFA has been the monitoring of the international situation as it evolves, working with the CARFA member states, Caribbean coordinating partners and mechanisms to respond to the threat and to prepare the member states to prevent further transmission from an exported case, or if there is exported case and then person-to-person transmission, the rolling out of both the health response and other sectors' response as the outbreak evolves.
Barbados gets high praise for its replanting more than 1 million national tree planting project. It's coming from the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, who today said he's impressed with the project, which is designed to combat climate change. He was speaking during a tree planting exercise at the National Botanical Gardens today. The delegation is currently on a cultural exchange with the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The tree planting, I think, is a very strong legacy that's, years to come. When we remember the regathering in 2020, we can always look back and say this tree was planted during that time. So I think it's an initiative that we doff our hats to. I think it's quite good, and it's also environmentally positive thing to do. It's a lesson we are taking back, and I believe as we carry on with the Beyond the Return, these are some of the things that we also want to incorporate in our planning.
Head of Global Markets of the BTMI Petrot said Barbados is looking to establish direct links from Accra, Ghana to Bridgetown, Barbados.
Ultimately, Barbados is looking to establish direct links from Accra in Ghana to Bridgetown, Barbados. And that means that we move away from just the dependence on the traditional markets that we have, which are obviously the UK, the USA and Canada. We have a long shared history, one which, was thrust upon us. I think that we are really at a moment in time in history which we can help define, which we can create the narrative for. And our development of this route just doesn't talk about the leisure element of it. It also talks about to those historical ties. It talks to the fashion industry. It talks to culinary. It talks to music. It talks to the arts. And we are very keen in terms of developing those linkages and forging ahead with helping each other with best practices.
It was a morning of celebration for 100-year-old Orville Clark when his 5 children, along with some of his 7 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren, gathered to celebrate his birthday. Governor General Dame Sandra Mason paid her customary visit, engaging the birthday boy in lively conversation, and Clark, who is still in good health, shared the secrets of his longevity.
What do you credit your long life to?
Eating the old time food. But yeah, the yam and that kind of stuff. Fish mostly. Never had that much pork. But I used to swim and fish. Get all fish. So I enjoyed that part of life.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, Grenadian authorities are clearing the air about the arrival of a chartered flight carrying several Chinese passengers at the Maurice Bishop International Airport earlier this week. Health Minister Nicholas Steele assured there was no need for alarm. More in this report from GBN Television.
Minister for Health Nicholas Steele admitted that a private flight did land in Grenada this morning, but with only 8 Chinese nationals who were screened for symptoms associated with the coronavirus.
Assure you that that flight was met by healthcare workers, and everybody on board that flight was screened, and like all other passengers where there is a point of origin close to China at this point in time, they're consistently monitored while they are here. Flight originated, as far as I'm aware, in Beijing. It is a business. It is, I think, 8 passengers on it. And it's a private flight, so it didn't interact with other commercial passengers or at a commercial port where we would have seen the risk to be much higher.
The minister says his office was aware of the flight days prior to its arrival and assured the general public that while the passengers were screened and cleared at the Maurice Bishop National Airport, the Chinese embassy also gave assurances that the passengers were screened before leaving China.
And on the international front, the World Health Organization today urged countries to prepare for a coronavirus outbreak that has killed 170 people in China as cases spread to at least 18 countries. We get details from Reuters Television.
I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
The WHO Director General said the declaration comes amid mounting evidence of the virus spreading to some 18 countries. There have been nearly 8,000 reported cases of the virus and at least 170 deaths, the vast majority in and around the city of Wuhan in central China.
So far, we have not seen any deaths outside China.
China implemented unprecedented procedures to halt the spread. Wuhan is the capital of Hubei province, where 60 million people are living under virtual lockdown. Major Chinese cities were largely deserted, with tourist attractions shut and Starbucks coffee shops, those still open, requiring temperature checks and masks. The WHO was quick to praise China's response, saying the international emergency declaration was out of concern that other nations may not have the resources to act as decisively.
We don't know what sort of damage this virus could do if it were to spread in a country with a weaker health system.
Airlines have suspended flights to China in the wake of the outbreak, and thousands of people were prevented from leaving a cruise ship in Italy on Thursday as health officials tested a passenger from Macau for the virus.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.